Welcome to MMA Fancast. My name's Luke, and I am honored to have friend of the show and champ Cheyenne Hall on the show. Cheyenne, welcome, champ.
Thank you very much.
It is great to have you back on the show, particularly now that you are a champ. Let's jump right into it. Both of your championship belts, one back in August, the other one won just a couple of days ago, were by stoppage. The first belt was won in the second round by stoppage. This one was won in the first minute of the first round by stoppage. So let's talk about that.
Well, so that's pretty cool. I don't know. I feel like I improved a little bit because I went from, second round to first round. And I don't know, it's pretty neat that they both came by stoppage. I feel like specifically since like moving up to Pittsburgh, my like cage wrestling and stuff has gotten a lot better. And I think that that's contributed to both of those stoppages. So I hope I can keep doing that. It'd be great if I don't have to go like the full fight every time. That'd be good.
It was impressive. I got to watch the entire fight on Facebook because it was such a short fight. The whole fight was put up on Facebook, so that was fun for me to watch it. You talk about your cage control. That's kind of what you used to your advantage. You pressed up against the cage, went for like a trip takedown, got her in the takedown, and then from there, right from your high clinch, took her down, and then from there transitioned and got what I like to call kind of the Donkey Kong stoppage. Because you're just like bang, bang, like the two arms on, So what was it like to so quickly get into that position? And when did you start thinking, well, this is probably it? Because you were punching, and at some point ground and pound usually ends in a stoppage.
Yeah. I definitely didn't expect it to happen all that fast. I was ready for a war, and then I got that takedown. I gotta give a shout out to Chris, because we worked on that a whole bunch. Mr. Chris Dempsey, good for him. I did his strip takedown. It worked perfect. And then I think I tried it like once, and I pulled my foot. I just didn't have the right angle with my leg. And then I tried it a second time, and it worked. And once she turned around to try to get back up, I think, but I was able to get her back in that little scramble. And once I was able to flatten my opponent out, I thought that was probably bad news bears for the end of that fight. But so and then I got to flatten her out, and it was hard for her to get back up to her knees, and I just thought that was probably it. Because
there's even besides the punching dominance, which obviously ends in the TKO. You mentioned the Mad Factory, Chris Dempsey, and everybody else, Isaac Reilly, everybody else up there. And one of the things is it does take work to flatten your opponent out. Some people get confused if you watch MMA. Yeah, exactly. It is a lot of work, because you'll see people that scramble back up. When you're even at the highest level, you'll see people that are very good at getting back up. And a lot of times shaking off their back opponent or whatever, a lot of times people think, well, if you get to that position, it's an automatic end of the fight. But it's really not. You had to do work with your hips to flatten them out. I did want to, Chip Snyder did a great job stopping it. I love Chip. and he jumped in there. And I think it was obviously a great stoppage, flattened out, eating punches from behind. You, in the last year, have a lot of changes. You've gotten a new job, moved to Pittsburgh, all those things. Now that this is, I believe, it's definitely your second championship belt in a row, second stoppage fight in a row. But what's it like now training at the Mat Factory, now that you've had basically, I think, half a camp and now a full camp under your belt at the Mat Factory?
I love it. It just feels like my home gym now. I'm really grateful to have all those guys there to train with. I have a lot of guys that are around my size too, so that's always really helpful. So it's been great. It's been really great. I feel like my wrestling's gotten so much better. I added in this last camp, I added in those wrestling practices. So speaking of people that like don't want to get taken down and just pop right back up, oh my gosh, those kids, they are springy. So I'm used to dealing with them. So that's helpful anytime I get to go against somebody that doesn't wrestle as much as that, which is those kids wrestle a lot. So I don't know who wrestles as much as them, but I did add that into my camp this time, and I think that's been a huge help. Just go in there and get my butt kicked every Tuesday and Thursday, and maybe later I can do that to somebody else, I guess.
Well, it is called the Mad Factory for a reason. So
it is.
The wrestling side is very good, and that does show humility on your part to to train with kids, like a you know, a kid
They're
training,
tough.
but that's really important because a lot of
Yeah.
the techniques are learned young and then perfected over a lifetime. And you're jumping in. Who are your main MMA sparring partners? You mentioned some guys around your size at the Mad Factory.
So at the Math Factory, I usually work Edwin. I work with Edwin a lot because we're
I
about the
figured.
same size. Yep. He's my boy. And then Elijah Davis, I work with him a bunch. We're about the same size. And then I got my girls there. I got like Lindsay, Gina, Brenna. Got a shout out to them. Those are my girls at the Math Factory. And then I'm trying to think of who else is around my size. Evan DeLong's a little bit bigger than me, but I also spar with him quite a bit. And then for the girls, I've got some girls I work with a lot too. Like Carly's been coming up a whole bunch, and Brittany Bigheart from Stout, she comes over quite a bit. So it's been really nice to have them around because they both fight around my weight class as well.
Yeah, I've had Brittany Pickard on the show before, and so that's also great to see those gyms working well together. I think Pittsburgh MMA is improving and improving. We just got to see Nick Brown win a huge fight.
I know, that was great.
And then he gave a shout out to Pittsburgh. It was fantastic. He talked specifically about how Pittsburgh is really developing. He, of course, runs his own gym, but really developing. I know he cross trains as well, really
Right.
developing MMA, which is fantastic. Let's talk a little bit. Both Edwin Vera, your partner, and Evan DeLong both had great wins at Brawl in the Berg 10, which was really exciting. What was it like for you to see them fight? I know a little bit of difficulty for Evan. Had a great fight to fight through a really tough opponent, being currently trained by a UFC current reigning champion up at Teixeira's gym in Connecticut. So that was a really great fight. But so talk a little about seeing Evan win, but then also Edwin has such a great personality, but then he had that tough loss in Johnstown. I know that was really hard on him physically, but also, you know, disappointing to get a corner stoppage against him, or a doctor stoppage, one of those. So what was it like to see those guys win?
Well, so Edwin's like the happy guy at the gym. So anytime he's sad, it's like extra sad. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Yeah.
So, but it was great to see him bounce back and have that huge win a couple weeks ago. It was just really good vibes going into my fight week. Honestly, it was it was great because everybody was like coming off a win. Everybody was feeling good. And Evan is so early in his MMA career, but he has improved so much in such a short time. So I really noticed that, especially, I mean, he was obviously a great wrestler to begin with, but then he came in and his striking has gotten just so much better. I think that if he sticks with it, he's going to be really great. And Edwin, speaking of wrestling, this got so many takedowns. I was so proud of him because he was also part of that little crew.
He was a lot like you in the sense that he got to the Mad Factory without any wrestling at all.
Yep.
And just wanted to throw hands. That was his like go-to. And now here he is mixing up, and he fought a tough guy who had 10 amateur fights. I mean, really experienced amateur, and did a great job. And yeah, I think seeing that smile and him talking about his triple cheeseburger and all that stuff, that's his personality, really just shows like he's building a full game plan at the Mat Factory, not just, he can still throw hands, but a full wrestling game plan. It's just great to see him. It's great to see him do that.
He's so much more well-rounded, I think, now too. It's just been great. So, and yeah, and it was really cool because he was part of that little crew of all of us that came in and started doing that wrestling class together. So we all kind of went out of our comfort zones together, and I feel like it definitely paid off. So that's good.
Well, and that's part of you being champ, right? Is you always have to work for ways to get out of your comfort zone. Now here's my segue. This probably was your comfort zone, but you and Chris recently went to a tropical paradise and did BJJ on a beach. And I was like, what is happening? It was so beautiful. You'd almost think you were there to shoot pictures for like a calendar or a movie or something. Like, who's doing BJJ on a beach? So talk to us a little bit about that trip. I was jealous. I had a lot of FOMO in missing out on that trip, but talk to us about that. That looked like a great time.
It was so fun. That trip was actually a birthday gift from Chris. He's doing a good job at the boyfriend department there.
He is.
But yeah, so we ended up going there. It was like right before my birthday, like probably a couple weeks. And Warren Stout does that camp down there every year. They do a week in December and a week in January. So you pay for it, and you can either stay at the resort right there with everybody, or you can stay like down the road at Airbnb. A couple people did that. But we trained 2 or 3 times every day, usually 1 gi session and 2 no gi sessions. and we were training with Sean Williams and Daniel Gracie. So I was just in awe of like the BJJ knowledge that was down there around me. It was great. But then we still found some time in between training sessions to go see some monkeys, and we went to some hot springs and saw a volcano. So that was really cool. And I had signed my contract to fight them, I think the Friday before we left. So like I started my fight camp there. So I was trying to have to like be careful about what I ate, and which is hard because Costa Rica people love rice and beans for every meal. So I had to be careful about my rice and bean consumption, but but it was really fun. And yeah, we trained jiu-jitsu on a beach, and it was literally right there. The mats were set up, and then probably about 10 feet past that was like the beach and the ocean. It was great.
Yeah. One of the pictures showed that, and I was like, they're literally, because you were training sort of like an outdoor, but it had a roof like a pavilion, I guess, like a pavilion, which in those tropical climates, that makes sense. Up here, we would never, I always joke, in Hawaii, the main Honolulu airport doesn't even have walls. It's literally open air into the airport, not just the waiting area. Yeah, where the actual airport has, I think they have like emergency things that can come down, if there's a hurricane or something. But in those environments, they just get used to the great weather, So it's pretty great that their training center was 10 feet from a beach, right on the beach, and under just a pavilion, which is pretty great. Well, you're all excited. You've had a great camp, a great win. You're a champ. Oh, and you're developing, obviously. So what are you looking at next? We always have to ask the champs that question.
So I don't know yet. We've been kind of talking about it at the gym and with my coaches, and I might be going pro, maybe.
Ooh.
I always say like I want one more amateur fight before I go pro, because you never feel really ready. I don't think. I don't know. I don't ever feel ready for anything. So like, but maybe some people do. But yeah, I think that's probably the next logical step soon. If I can get another amateur fight, that would be great. But I don't know. We're probably thinking about that soon. Yeah. And also, and I like to do some jiu-jitsu stuff too. So I just got my purple belt, and I haven't competed yet at purple belt. So I'd like to do that sometime.
Well, let's first say a big congratulations on your purple belt. Woo! Champ, and purple belt. As far as winning championship MMA, I would assume that's like a rush because it's one fight and you've got to do it. But I also know that the journey for the belts, like to go from a white belt all the way to a purple belt, is a much longer journey. So do you feel more rewarded when you get the belt promotions because it's years of work as opposed to the rush and the excitement of a 5-minute fight, or in your case, a 45-second fight or whatever it was, is exciting, but it's also not the years to get the belt ranking?
Yeah, I don't know if it's more exciting, but it's definitely different, because for belt, like jiu-jitsu belt promotions, I didn't know I was going to get my purple belt this last time. So that was a big surprise, which was cool. But I don't know. It's like less of an adrenaline rush exciting and more of like I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's really hard to explain that, I guess. It's just more of a like slow play, it's like something that you worked for years, and it's like a graduation or something. It's like a graduation. Yeah. That's kind of like what it is.
Sure.
So, and it's less adrenaline jumpy and more of just like something that you've worked for, and you had to be in there grinding every day for it, so.
Well, that's a big congratulations to you on that. And it would be, I'm sure, fun for you to kind of do the tournaments as a purple belt and be working on your BJJ, which is great. I've had a lot of fighters on that are, in your boat where they're going to turn pro, but it really comes down to what fight is offered that would make sense to go pro, and what fight would be offered that would make sense to get another amateur. It's kind of like, it's very,
I think that's it.
Yeah, it's very matchup driven, particularly when you're where you are. And a lot of people get to that position, which is a great position to be in, where it's up to you and your coaches to kind of find the right match to either do another amateur and sharpen a little bit more, or have the opportunity to go pro. So it'll be exciting regardless. I'm looking forward to continuing to following you. You're such a fun person and a great interviewer. So thanks so much for coming on. Happy belated birthday. Congratulations on your double champ status. And it was so much fun to have you back on the show.
Thank you.
Take care. Have a good one, champ.
Bye.
Bye-bye.